Seems like all of Wilkes County is here today. There's Souvenir Row. There's the concert stage. And the last time NASCAR raced here, that US 421 was just a 2-lane highway. Now, oh, this place is packed. And is it great to see as NASCAR's core fan base comes out. Ty Gibbs, whose team won the Pit Crew Challenge. He has the pole for the Open, and Josh Berry subbing for injured Alex Bowman, who would have been in the All-Star race, but as the sub, Josh has to come through the Open to make the All-Star race. Rest of the field will scroll across the bottom of your screen. Let's
might be working on something here with his crew member. Hang on just a second.
While we check on that, let me explain that Ryan Newman, who is in the 51 for Rick Ware Racing, he is a former All-Star race winner, but he is not eligible to automatically be in the All-Star race because he was not a full-time Cup driver when this season began.
Nice, ready. How about you, Ty Gibbs? It's Boy and the boys up in the booth. You got us?
Yeah, I got you up there. What's up?
Man, you're up. How about that pit crew winning that $100,000 for you? How about this grandstands? Packed house to watch you do work out there.
For sure. I think the pit crew's still pumped from Friday night, so pretty cool to be out there. Feels like I'm just, back at Hickory a little bit with all the people out here, so pretty cool to be out here and searching for grip, searching for gold.
Well, that's what it is, all about managing these runs. How about your race car and how you're going to keep these guys behind you?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is just get on the bottom and hammer down. I don't really know if there's a whole lot of passing besides try not to get wrecked. So we'll see what we can do and hopefully have a good run.
All right, buddy. You're the man.
Boy, it's incredible how much he has matured in his first season in Cup racing. All right, let's get downstairs to pit road, beginning with Jamie Little.
Well, Mike, always a fan favorite. Noah Gragson is trying to race his way into his first All-Star race. Now, if he can't race in, he's hoping that he won the fan vote. Of course, we won't know until the race is over. But a few weeks ago, he started a Vote for Noah campaign, complete with video and a pin like this that he handed out to everybody that was willing to take it. But he'll have his work cut out for him tonight as he's starting way back in 15th. Regan Smith.
Well, Jamie, perhaps no driver in the field has more experience on old, worn-out racetracks in the Southeast than Josh Berry. Tracks very similar to where we're at here at North Wilkesboro tonight, but he told me not to read too much into that. He said these cars and this tire is so much different than what he's had experience with. He doesn't know how much that will factor in, but he does like his race car. He said it's fast, and his team, who would have been locked in with regular driver Alex Bowman, he said they deserve to be in this race, and I'm going to do everything I can to get them into this race. Josh Sims?
Well, Regan, Ryan Preece has been in the Open 2 times, never been in the All-Star race. They're going to start 8th in this event, and they said that the word to describe what they're going to have to do, scratch and gouge their way to get some track position to give themselves a shot. We'll talk with crew chief Chad Johnson, and he told me it doesn't matter if it's a points race, if it's the All-Star race, or it's the Open. No matter the amount of cars in the field, a win can go a long way in the confidence of a team.
Thanks, Josh. Well, let's check with 2-time North Wilkesboro Cup Series winning crew chief, Larry McReynolds.
Well, Mike, one thing that's not changed in 27 years, I'm going to have to scratch and crawl with my strategy for this race because it's 100 laps. It's a short race, and all laps count. But we're going to have that all-star caution around lap 40. There's only one overtime finish, but one reason I'm glad I'm up here with you guys and not down there making the calls, only 2 sets of Goodyear tires. Tire fall off here is so bad, I used to tell my tire guy, do not roll on the pit road. Please carry them.
All right. This is a very abrasive surface. You see what looks like sealer and the patches that have been put down. The grit that has been added to that epoxy for that sealer is like 100 grit sandpaper. It is really abrasive.
Well, that's exactly what it is. It's actually sand laid in with the epoxy, and that grit patch, that is where all the juice is. You've got to hit that grit patch, especially down there in 3 and 4, Jamie. You miss that, you're going to slide foreverland.
Yeah, you're chasing to find the grip there, but then you also have to chase the balance of what the car does when you slide off of that grist patch onto this old surface. It hasn't been paved since '81, Clint.
Which, by the way, there's your opportunity. How do you pass? You're going to have to
move
get
somebody
into
up
them,
off of
move
that.
them out of that grip patch, get them up out of the groove. They lose the grip, and you go under them. Rest is history.
The bump and run may not have been invented here, but it was perfected here. Beautiful day, 77 degrees, not a cloud in the sky.
There you see the grip patch really well down there in 3 and 4.
What about the apron, the concrete? Now, the trucks used that as part of the racing groove.
Watch that. Actually, all 4 tires. We were talking about that before we came on. All 4 tires finding grip down there in that concrete. I don't think you'll see that with the Cup cars.
Jamie, 1 to go. Josh Berry, Harrison Burton, Micah McDowell, Ryan Preece, the drivers in the outside lane. What's going to be their biggest challenge when they drop the green?
Well, you're clearly going to fight to get to the bottom on this start. I think, Clint, this will be a little bit calm at the beginning. After that competition caution, a lap 40, though, I think that's when the chaos will break out.
Here's Corey LaJoie's radio.
Beautiful day, beautiful racetrack. It's awesome to be here. Let's go have us a day and make this show, huh?
So stay locked in. Give me some nuggets from up top and what you're seeing.
100 laps. Here we go. Green flag. 3 wide into the corner. McDowell way to the outside.
Oh, he lost grip. It was working, Jamie, and it come out from underneath of him. Going to lose some time here.
Yeah, and you saw Josh Berry fighting to get to the bottom. You see right there in front of Justin Haley, and he's able to get to the bottom, lets him in right there.
NASCAR says the start is under review. Still 3 wide off the corner. A lot of beat and bang. Harrison Burton to the bottom. Preece gets to the bottom and almost got turned around in the process.
You know, Clint, the one thing interesting about what McDowell did there is that because everybody's fighting to get to the bottom, they're checking that lane up. I think he was trying to capitalize on that and just overcook the corner a little bit.
Well, when I heard you say, you know, you'd think wait for the aggression till later.
Yeah, he didn't wait long.
I was thinking that's a good move, a smart move, because probably everybody out there is thinking the same thing. Just take it easy right now. Good opportunity to pounce. But it's cost him a lot of spots here. Can't get down.
McDowell finally got in line in 8th place as Todd Gilliland gets underneath Corey LaJoie. NASCAR has approved the start, and we continue.
Yeah, and one thing, guys, is you see Eric trying to get underneath Corey LaJoie. I like the radio transaction that LaJoie, he said, look, search for some nuggets. He's talking to the spotter. If you see a driver moving around doing something, if he finds some grip somewhere on the track, tell me about it so I can try to do it.
Like what I see out of Justin Haley early. Got some speed in that car. Applying pressure on Josh Berry. He's one that might catch you off guard to get in this race.
And that's for 2nd place.
These guys back here, you see AJ Allmendinger, all these guys, they're going to have to start getting aggressive, and it's going to have to come early.
LaJoie's car will not hold the bottom of the racetrack. Harrison Burton gets underneath him in the 21.
That's another thing. You see everybody starting to line up on that bottom. You get somebody shoveled out, you got to be there to fill the hole. Do not allow him to get in.
Yeah, and we saw this in the heat races yesterday. You see Corey LaJoie, the position he's in. He's in trouble right here. He is most likely going to fall in line at the end of this line of cars. This track has been the worst track for that outside groove. It's just you've got to be on the bottom. You don't want to get shuffled up. And you see that 7 car looks really loose on the entry to the corner.
I think your only chance is to catch them on the exit and kind of put their right front in the middle of your door, put some pressure on them, try to get them loose. You're going to have to lean on them.
Ryan Newman, a little bump there with Noah Gragson.
You know, guys, watching our top 2 right now, Ty Gibbs in that 54 car, he's pretty much pulling 4th gear all the way around this track. Josh Berry in the 48, though, is pulling 5th gear.
I like the idea of Josh Berry doing 5th gear, Clint. If you can minimize the wheel spin, Josh Berry has raced here before, and the type of racing he has grown up doing, it's about managing your tires, saving your tires. He might give up a little bit of speed on the front end, but if he can save those rear tires, which you know are wearing more than the fronts, he might be better on the longer run.
And that's on forward drive conversation, trying to get up off the corner. If you're lugging that thing a little bit, keeps the tires from spinning. We used to do that with gear back in the day, right? I mean, we had to change the rear end gear when to do that and accomplish the same thing.
And
these guys could do it with the gears.
I'm not a fan of the shifting. I don't like the fact that these guys have the option to shift, but I kind of like it here where you have the option of 2 different gears to run in, and like you say, lugging the engine or maybe revving it up higher.
Ryan Newman gave Josh Bilicki a little bump there. That sent the 78 to the outside, and Newman's going to move up a spot.
The bump and run is what you're going to have to do.
Gragson now fills that opening on the inside and moves up.
Guys, we've run 10 laps, and we already have a 2nd fall off right now.
Wow.
So we knew the fall off was going to come, and we knew the bottom lane was going to be preferred. So now you need to fall off even farther, Jamie. We're going to need to get to, 30, even around that 40 mark to really start to see who's going to have a good balance on their car and who doesn't.
Boy, look at this
80
surface.
to an 87. They're telling him not to go wide open.
It is
So
anything but smooth.
It sounds like they're talking about Josh Berry's radio behind. They're telling him not to go wide open, and that means he's not pressuring this situation. So Josh is not only running in a taller gear, which is lugging the engine, but he's also just managing that throttle pedal, creating the least amount of wheel spin as he can on exit. Not quite as quick as Ty Gibbs right now, but he's hoping that that's going to pay off.
Well, it is so far, Jamie. He has increased the gap to third place, Justin Haley in the 31. It's now almost a full second, second to third.
And Mike, I got a little nervous with how quick Haley took off, because when you see a car take off that quick, maybe the air pressure is a little higher, maybe that balance is a little bit freer. The one thing that we learned last night is that the guys had to have their cars really tight to be good on the long run. And Clint, the tighter it is, it might not turn the middle, but you're able to get that forward drive off, and that's where most of the lap time is going to be made up on a track like this with massive tire fall off.
Chandler Smith, the biggest mover, then Eric Almirola. Only the top 2 finishers will transfer, plus the fan vote winner.
The top 2 is not going anywhere around this racetrack more than 60% full throttle.
Wow.
Yeah, that's out the window. That's how slick this old surface is. It's like being on ice, isn't it, Jamie?
And lap 15 goes up on the board. Yes, that's the old manual style scoreboard like they used to have here. Those fellas are going to be busy tonight.
Guys, one of the drivers that we haven't talked a lot about, I didn't hear it in the pre-race show, and we haven't discussed it today, is Eric Almirola. And he ran really well at Martinsville. If you remember, all of those SHR cars were great when we got to Martinsville. He looks like he's got a good long-run car. I think he's someone we're going to have to keep our eye on as this race goes on. He's been working on Justin Haley for a couple of laps, but he seems to be very consistent as the run's going on.
Takes me back into what you said about Justin Haley. Took off fast, had a good, up front speed, and that might be air pressure. If you're up too high on air pressure or the balance is probably a little tight to take off comfortable, now it's starting to get too tight and he's in trouble. Here comes Eric Almirola.
Regan?
Well, Mike spoke to Justin Haley right before he got in the race car. He didn't have a lot of confidence in what they were going to have for this race. Felt like they were off from where they needed to be Friday. Thought that they would be a long-run car, not a short-run car. They fired off great right here, but the report from the driver now is that race car is already getting too loose for him through the corners.
There it is, too loose.
Yeah, and Clint, the one thing that I don't think any of the drivers have figured out, and we discussed it a little bit prior to this race starting, is where is that pass? Like, where is the best passing zone on this racetrack? I loved watching Suarez last night trying to work over Chase Elliott. He hit him a few times, but couldn't get him loose in the right spot. And as a driver, you don't want to hit him on the entry to the corner because that guy's really vulnerable. You'd like to get him loose on exit, but it seemed really hard for those guys to time it out.
A.J. Allmendinger back in 10th spot. Here's their radio.
Yeah, I got no grip at all. Just feel way out of the racetrack. Both hands. I don't know. Can't get the front to turn, and then when I got a lot of steering wheel on it, and I try to throttle up, there's nothing there.
Welcome to Wilkesboro, right?
Oh, it's painful, right, Clint? It reminds you almost of a Richmond or Darlington where you're half throttle, but you're gaining on somebody, and you can't imagine that their car could be driving any worse than what yours is.
When tracks are slick like this, there's no more word more important than the word balance. You have to have a good balance on your car, and what that means is that rear end cannot be too loose sliding out from underneath of you. That front end cannot be too tight sliding out from underneath of you. It has to be an evenly matched race car from front to rear.
And I love, like, if you just watch Ryan Preece right there behind Chandler, you can see that car sliding around, and he's babying it, right? Like the least amount of wheel input he can, just trying to stay on the grip patch that we're calling it, that epoxy sealer, trying to find grip.
I talked to him earlier. He said, I want to run the first half of this and see if I can do it without upsetting my tires.
Well, and that's the goal for all of these guys. And here we were 15 laps in just a few minutes ago, and all of them were complaining about how slick it was. One thing that's interesting is we watch these guys go through turns 1 and 2. We'll watch McDowell going down into this corner. You'll see there's a little bit of that patch that Clint talked about, a grip patch. They slide up right there. Now, he went a little bit high and got above that, but it looks like all the guys are trying to get their right side tires on that, and that's where the grip is for them right now.
How about that Mark Martin paint scheme?
That's cool.
Very nice.
That paint scheme got around here pretty good.
Talk about iconic paint schemes.
See how
Burton for the Wood Brothers.
See how loose Harrison was getting off of the turn 4, sliding out from underneath of him there. These cars are really starting to fall apart on these long runs like we were talking about. This is what separates the men from the boys right here. Lap 25 on, we know that there's a caution coming around that 40 mark. I think you're going to start to see who has the balance underneath their cars and who doesn't.
And as bad as the cars are driving now, as a driver, it's hard to make a choice of not putting those tires on. Ooh, you see super loose on the entry of the corner, and it carried on around. But it's hard not to want to put tires on at this competition caution. But if you're one of these guys in the back, you're going to have to do something different and hope that luck's on your side and one of those cautions can fall 15 or 20 laps later where you get to be in a better position than the leaders.
So, Larry, when that competition caution comes, you're going to want tires, but do you need tires?
Yeah, you need them and you want them, and all of the above. But the only way, what Jamie's saying, and I agree, I've always said you follow the leader, you follow the leader. The only way that works is you're going to have to catch a quick caution or they will lap you in 15 laps.
And the thing is, you got nothing to lose, right? If you finish third in this race, you're going home anyway. So let's take a chance and see if we can get off sequence, hope a caution falls right, and get in a better position.
That'll change the game. You start getting into lap traffic, that forces your hand to start moving around. Everybody will stack up and start catching you.
And Clint, you talked about earlier about getting on that concrete. I saw the 54 actually get his left sides down on that. It didn't seem like it's upset the balance of his car. I just wonder, as the pace has slowed down so much, is it a little easier to get on that now?
So the fall off now, 1.4 seconds from the lap times for the leader at the beginning of this race. Same for second place, and third not so much. Jamie Little.
Eric Almirola on the move right now. He's putting the pressure on Justin Haley. He's already up 5 spots. And they just told him on the radio, remember, brake bias and brake fans. Clint and Jamie, what do they mean by that, and how can they help him in this situation?
Well, right now, your brake fan, man, he was super loose getting under him. He didn't even have to get into them. Haley was way loose in front of him. Now. I think he felt the breath on his car and took off. But brake bias, you can put front and rear brake on these cars as it starts to get loose in the corner, much like we saw Haley get loose right there. You saw Harrison Burton getting loose. That's when you're going to start moving those brakes around, find a good balance with your braking.
Yeah, and since everybody's complaining about being loose, I can't imagine you did anything but try to put some front bias in. I talked to a couple of the drivers about, how slick is it? Is it comparable to Richmond? Is it comparable to Darlington? And the one word that both guys used, I asked, they said snow. They're like, it's like driving in the snow, Jamie. You can't believe how slick it is.
All right, Michael McDowell has distanced himself from the cars he was racing with. Josh?
Yeah, and Michael McDowell started 6th, and he's still 6th, complaining right now that the other guys are just able to get deeper into the corner than he can. A little frustrated for him. And remember, this is a guy that's been in the All-Star race the last 2 seasons. He said it's weird to be back in the open, wants to be in the All-Star race, felt he's going to have to do anything and everything he can to try and get back there.
Now, behind him, 5 cars in pretty close proximity there. Now here's Ty Gibbs. Ty Dillon just ahead of him is going to go a lap down right here. Trying to stay on the lead lap.
Well, he's fighting for everything he can, but the 54 car, Ty Gibbs, obviously has a little more grip. And Clint, I thought he did a really good job just barely moving Dillon up the racetrack. He had to get into him a little bit on entry. Dillon's trying to stay on the lead lap, crowding down to the inside, but he's hanging on for dear life.
I was going to say, Dillon did a good job of crowding him, too.
Yeah,
he was doing everything he could do to try to block him, try to stay on this lead lap.
Now, the free pass rule is in effect, and it is doubtful that Ty Gibbs will get to J.J. Yaley, the next car, or the last car on the lead lap now, before the competition yellow.
Man, I don't want to see the yellow now. The way these cars are falling off, I want to say, you have Almirola really coming up through the field. Some of them are really having trouble with the balance of their handling of their cars. Harrison Burton's all over the place. Now Allmendinger's getting to him. It's just getting spicy right now.
Yeah, and we talked about Eric Almirola a couple times, and guys, I'm telling you, consistently the fastest laps. If I'm a crew chief down there, that's the one I'm worried about right now.
All right, Ryan Preece with a little bump there, getting a little frustrated.
Inside by himself. Honestly, I don't even know what to say. Copy, just write it out. We'll get your work on here.
Been there. And Newman's putting some pressure on him.
Allmendinger to the front of that pack, moves him up to 7th, and Preece way up the racetrack.
Well, and that's what's so frustrating, Mike. You're faster than Chandler Smith. He holds you up, gets you crossed up a little bit, and then you get passed by 2 cars. That just makes you even more upset.
See if a crossover happens with Newman.
Gregson passes Newman.
Oh.
Newman comes back on the inside.
All that. That's the way it works. Now you're starting to see this fall off and how important it is. I like this thing. I want it to go green. Do we have to do a competition caution?
You know, one thing hurting these drivers, they have not been on the racetrack with these cars in 48 hours. They got that practice on Friday, the Pit Crew Challenge. They've been impounded and covered up ever since.
It's a great point, and where my head goes with that, Larry, is their teammates, right? There's a lot of these guys' teammates that are in the All-Star race already. Some of them are really happy about the way their package is looking, and some of them are going, uh-oh.
Definitely. A lot of them going, uh-oh, I think, right now.
I'd say if I'm in a Gibbs camp, I'd be pretty excited.
Now NASCAR did not commit to a particular lap for the competition caution. Here it is as we complete 40 laps.
Well, I guarantee everybody was ready for them to go ahead and throw that. Everybody was wanting to come in and regroup right here.
Well, not the guy sitting next to you. Yeah. I mean,
I know you said that a couple times. I'm ready for a restart.
I was laying it on
I'm ready for a restart.
Jamie.
So Ty Gibbs has led every one of the 40 laps so far. Ty Dillon will be the first car 1 lap down. He will get the free pass.
Wedge wrenches, air pressure. Larry, give me something. This thing's, it's terrible, buddy.
Yeah, and I tell you, I really like what Jamie set up with, you know, possibly staying out here. But this race, with this fewer cars, it just has that green flag look. I just don't know if that's going to work, and if you try it.
You almost got to get that caution like right away on the restart, like somebody fighting to get to the bottom, and it might not be a big enough advantage.
Then the advantage doesn't help from
the other way.
The lack of track position.
Now the pit entrance here is at turn 3 because this track is configured with 43 pit boxes the way we used to run here. The pits don't go all the way around, but you enter before turn 3 and exit in the middle of turn 1. So right there is pit in, and way down here is pit out.
Curved pit road, Jamie.
Yeah, always very similar to like a Martinsville, right? Clint?
Exactly, and challenging. Especially if you're pitted on one of those curves. Having to get in and out of that box and keep, you know, the maximum pit road speed.
And we just don't have a lot of history here. And that's what you base your lights on inside the car.
So, Larry, after this stop, you're very limited what you can do the rest of this race.
I'm going to go eat dinner. Y'all are on your own the rest of the way.
All right. Jamie Little, pit road's open.
Mike, you could see there, pit road begins inside turn 3. There's the 10 of Eric Almirola turning some of the best times of this race. He said, I'm pretty good compared to all these guys around me. A little bit tight, so they made an air pressure adjustment to free him up a tad. He said he needs nothing else. Josh?
The second year in the Open for Todd Gilliland in the 38. Same story as everybody else. Loose in, loose off, tight through the center. Needs a little bit of help there, but hoping to get something to get him into the All-Star race. Regan?
Josh Berry too loose on the exit of the corners. The car overall just builds too free for him. He wants an adjustment for that. And the 54 of Ty Gibbs, he said it feels good. I don't know what else I would change with the car. Just give me a good stop, guys.
Harrison Burton, 21 car. Rear tires only. Rear tires only. Somebody's trying to pull a rabbit out of the hat.
Boy, there must be a former modified racer on that crew.
Yeah, but I like that. He didn't have a shot to make the top 2. I like them taking a chance.
You know what I like? Josh Berry's pit crew.
Josh Berry wins the Ram race off pit road. Ty Gibbs, Josh Berry, Justin Haley. Welcome back to the Open to set the field for the NASCAR All-Star Race this afternoon on FS1. Aerial coverage is provided by Goodyear, powering the race from green to checkered flag and every mile in between. Goodyear, more driven.
Watch this, guys. This is where the trouble was on Ty Gibbs.
Watch the jack band here as they come around to the left side.
Reaches around to get it. I don't know if his hands missed the handle or he turned the handle. Nonetheless, the car didn't go down and kind of fell off the jack as it left. $100,000. Hey, heroes one night, zeros the next. That's racing. Been there.
Yeah, if you look at the choose right here, Chandler Smith, 5th place, is the guy that chose the outside the front row.
Love it. Gambling on.
Here they come to the Geico restart zone. It'll be 53 laps to go.
Need to be hanging a left, leaning on that guy hard. Here comes Michael McDowell on the outside again, going for it.
Wow.
Might work this time.
3 wide off, and McDowell is still moving to the front.
How about that, Jamie? Almirola.
Oh, he's going to have to get down. The 10 car was able to fill that hole. 10 car's fast, even on this restart right now. The one thing I liked is that we heard him say on pit road, he was a little bit tight, Clint, and I think being a little bit tight helps you out. I think that's better than being too loose here.
So the 31 Haley was 5th at the choose. Where is he going to wind up once we get single file, if we get single file?
You know, seeing that contact of the 10 car on the backstretch, I know we've had this car for 2 years now, but I love that you don't have the fender rubs you used to have. That would have resulted in him having to pit before, and there, he clipped the inside wall, it looked like.
Wall, sure did.
Crash behind you. Yellow's out. Yellow's out.
4 cars involved in turn 1.
Gill and Newman. Gregson hit that inside wall and shot straight up the track right in their lap. Chandler Smith. Oh, Newman, heavy damage on him. I'd say he's done. Splitter looks down on that car too. Rear end diffuser's messed up. Oh, he's got front end damage as well.
So as Haley got in line, it seemed like the whole field accordioned back to where that incident began. Let's look from above. Yeah, everything just accordions together. Oh, Gregson bounces off the inside wall.
They're already getting close to that, Mike, and it's almost like because he was right behind that car in front of him, he misjudged it. Oh. Everyone on his outside, just an innocent victim.
Wow.
You see, he was fighting to get to the bottom. He was on the outside lane and then just clips that inside wall. Todd Gilliland's along for the ride. I'm sure that shocked all those guys of what happened to him.
Josh Bilicki will get the free pass on this, the second caution. So it starts way back here. Haley and McDowell. Haley getting into line, and now the whole field accordions into the corner.
Well, yeah, you know, we talked about them all fighting to get down to the bottom. Then they all check up, they slow down. And it's almost like Noah Clint was maybe going to try to turn underneath McDowell, like he had a little run, has those fresh tires on the fronts, turn a little better. Just mistimed it.
He entered on the outside of him a little bit, and when he went to turn back under him and cross over, it's just a blind corner for him at that point. Didn't see that inside wall, got into it. I would think that has some implications. Noah's a very popular driver. Remember, 2 guys make this race and a fan vote. If I was going to be a fan of somebody on that racetrack, I'm all over Noah Gragson. This could be huge.
NASCAR yesterday released a list of the 5 drivers leading the fan vote, and Noah was one of those 5. The results will be given when this ends. Here are the 5, and this is in numerical order, not in voting order, with the winner yet to be announced. So cleaning up from a 4-car pileup down in turn number 1. Chandler Smith's car is being towed to the garage. Todd Gilliland drove into the garage out of the race. We're going to line back up with 44 laps to go. Berry and Gibbs, Almirola and Haley, McDowell and Allmendinger, Preece and Dillon, Yaley and Burton, the top 10.
Great jump on the outside. Justin Haley. See if he can lean on him, put some pressure on him. He's trying. Take that exit away, right, Jamie?
Oh, and you can hear Ty have to baby the throttle a little bit. That's going to allow McDowell to get down in front of him. Ty is wearing the rear bumper out of that car.
Man, is he?
Barry tips it and around.
Down.
No, into the wall goes McDowell and Haley.
Well, there's two more. Eliminating themselves. How about that guy? Seen him before. Ray Evernham. Won the last race here. How about that?
I'm going to say most of that was caused from Ty getting into the back of McDowell, trying to get that position back, and it shoves McDowell back into Justin Haley.
There's the bump from Gibbs. Yeah.
Hey, he's inside of him right there, though. I don't see any wrongdoing there. Knowing what they're racing for, no points. He had his tires on that concrete, was able to get a little better drive, and it just got narrow.
But then all of a sudden, McDowell's in that middle lane.
In a bad position.
Trying to stay on the door of Gibbs, and unfortunately gets in the back of Haley and turns him around.
That was kind of one of those 12 wheels corner better than 4 situations, at least for whoever was on the inside.
Haley had it saved, and then McDowell came back around, hooked him, and both on the wall. Haley's out. That car's destroyed.
And listen, we discussed this at the start of the show, start of this race. It wouldn't be as aggressive at the beginning. As these restarts get closer and closer to the end, these guys want to be in this race. They're going to get more aggressive.
Desperation.
But if they keep eliminating themselves, we're not going to have to worry about it.
You know, I was not impressed. Gibbs was the one that was in trouble.
He had a hard time
getting a good jump and a
getting
restart.
off turn 2, yeah.
I was super impressed with the way Haley got started on that outside. That was a power move.
So something is embedded underneath the safer barrier as the AMR safety crew goes to work. Looks like they have that removed. And Justin Haley has gone to the garage. Michael McDowell comes to pit road.
Just need a little persuasion from a sledgehammer. Always works.
You know, you talked about Ty Gibbs not having a good restart, good turns 1 and 2. The one unknown is how your car reacts to tires that have been cycled, right? We know how that worked on stickers because we've had 2 restarts. But then when you start cycling tires, if your car's tight or if your car's too loose, it reacts differently on those scuffed tires. Ty Gibbs' car didn't seem to like that.
Let's ride along with the Monster Energy Cam on board Ty Gibbs.
Yeah, bang, 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 bang.
Yeah, and here's the thing, though. I think McDowell fully expects that. He cuts down in front of Ty. He probably drove in a little harder.
He did.
Cuts down in front of Ty. He knows it's coming, so he's just trying to hold the car straight.
That's right.
Ty got into him a little bit, and Ty was underneath him, washed him up the racetrack a little bit. It's unfortunate for those two guys, but I mean, it is what it is for this race.
McDowell was being very aggressive, and he was on the restart before that, and exactly right. He should have been doing everything he needed to do. Unfortunately, did not work out.
So McDowell is on pit road with the hood up, making repairs. He has gone 1 lap down. Ryan Newman is 2 laps down.
I want to go back to something you talked about. I think it's been a long time since we as a sport have been on a track that this wore out. When you talk about how your tires are going to refire on a cycle, I think it's important to get them cleaned up as well. I think there's a lot of debris out there, and if you don't get these things cleaned up, a young driver like Ty Gibbs, he really hasn't had to worry about that on our newer surfaces that he races on the majority of the time. Here, not so much. Pretty old school.
It's a good point, and there's a lot of sealer on the track. I walked around the track earlier today, and the track is coming up, right? You walk around, you can pick little pieces up of the track. It's kind of crumbling as these guys are running on it. That's a good point. You get a little something on your tires, some of those little stones that are ground up that are pulling up. Could be slick.
Also, he's been leading. He hasn't been in traffic like he was in that situation at all.
Well, he fixed that. Well, we don't have any more.
Well, yeah, the balance of his car is going to be a little different in traffic. You know, it's not going to turn as good. The thing is, in a race like this, we saw it get spread out a little bit once we got 3 or 4 laps in. They know they've got to capitalize on these restarts.
All right, Corey LaJoie on pit road. Let's check with Jamie.
Well, Noah Gragson was one of the cars involved in that first caution, and he told the team bend toe link. So they told him pit, but he couldn't hear the team, so he stayed out. They think they have the issues worked out. They switched over to another channel, but he's making hay. Noah Gragson up to 7th with a very hurt race car.
Wow. $39 to go. Here's your choose.
Oh, Almirola goes to the outside. That's a brave move because he's been restarting on the third row inside each time. And I think he has the car that can get past Ty Gibbs or Josh Berry.
I think they saw Justin Haley get that jump on the outside. It's doable. He just proved it.
So teammates Almirola and Preece took the outside along with Harrison Burton. Everybody else is in the inside lane.
I kind of like that inside lane, Clint. I like that. There's 40 laps to go in this. I want to be a little bit safe right now.
Safe.
10 to go. I'll take my chances.
You're going to be sitting on the couch at home.
I live my whole life safe, Clint.
Only 3 cars on the outside as they head for the Geico restart zone. Those 3 will be joined by Corey LaJoie, who blasts out of the pits and catches up to them. And we're back to green.
Watch this. Good start.
Good restart by the 10 car on the outside. But you know, Clint, you said it. You almost have to get inside right now. If you get down to turn 3, it's hard.
He's trying.
Ooh, I wouldn't get in front of Ty Gibbs.
His teammate Preece. Great opportunity for him.
I'm not letting him in. I don't care if you're my teammate or not. Oh, you see Preece
loose. He's leaning on him. He's going to make him. That's the hard thing.
Yeah, and when you're the 10 car on the outside, I think you're using more tire, sliding your car like that. He might be able to get in front of Ryan, but he's not going to let him.
Now he's in trouble.
Oh, yeah.
Has to happen quick. End up 5th. If we're
and
not.
Here comes Allmendinger.
You almost have to give up a spot to find a hole at this point.
Yeah, like just take your whipping right here and get in behind the 16.
That's tough.
Well, the 16 got a bump from Almirola and makes his own space there in front of Yaley.
It's tough because that 10 car is capable of winning this race if he could get just some laps under his belt. The long-run speed of that car, the first run was very good.
And that's why I think if you've got a car that is that good, don't risk it. Start third row on the inside, try to come out third, and then try to work these guys over as the runs go on. If it gets down to the last few laps, we get a green-white checkered, take a chance then.
How about this Ryan Preece? Man, we heard the disgust in his demeanor on that radio. Fixed all that. Got some blue life. Might have a pass for the lead. Ty Gibbs looking on the inside, Josh Berry.
But he is not scared. He's working him over up off the bottom of the racetrack.
He's clear down on the 8th.
And here comes Preece on the outside.
I want to get out there.
But no.
You're going to see a little bit more persuasion here.
Yeah, and Barry's holding them up right now. The 54 car is quite a bit better. The Barry's car is not happy right now.
Oh, he's going to let him go on the outside.
I think that's a good move. Clear. Versus getting wrecked.
Well, that's a smart move.
Now Preece applies the bumper to Berry.
That Preece is a short tracker. He'll knock him out of the way.
Be 31 laps to go when they come back.
I think that was a smart move by Josh Berry, though. He was going to get worked up off the bottom, and we saw what happened to Eric Almirola. You're going to go all the way to the back of this line. As you see Eric trying to get inside of Allmendinger right there. I think that was a really smart move for him to put himself in the best position because Preece hasn't had a great car during this race.
Almirola moves up to 4th. Preece is in the stealing seat. 2 cars are going to transfer, the first 2. I think right now, as we close in on the end of this race, I'd want to be 3rd and close enough.
You better hurry because this 10 car, your teammate's coming. I think the 10 car is better than all 3 of those guys. Won't be long. You'll be looking in the mirror there, Jamie.
Yeah, the 10 car, I mean, consistently, guys, and like I say, he's been a little bit tight. That's what they're reporting on pit road. And I think that's a good thing at this track because though it might not be as good on the short run, as the long run goes on, that car's a little more stable on entry. And more than anything, Clint, you've said it for 2 days, it's the drive off, being able to get the good drive on exit.
There it is, looking to the inside. Get him looking in the mirror. Start the process.
Well, and there's no doubt, Eric's like, hey, you remember me? You didn't let me in on the restart. So payback's tough.
Hey, Clint, you can tell the pay window's open. Preece has started shifting between 3rd and 4th, doing everything he can to get up there and battle for those top 2 spots.
Gibbs, Berry, Preece, none of those 3 have ever competed in the All-Star feature.
This is a tough predicament if you're Eric Almirola, Jamie. You can't lean on your teammate too bad.
It is, but
you got to go back Monday morning and have a meeting with him.
I think this is a completely different race. There's no points. Everyone wants to be in the All-Star race. Eric's been in the All-Star race before, and I'm telling you, when you've been in it before, if you don't make it in tonight, you feel like you've lost everything. And the 10 car, they've got to be telling Priest that the 10 is one of the best cars on the track to be smart right now.
Everything was fine till Priest lost touch with Berry. And once that gap opens up, that was the opportunity for Almirola, and he took it.
And if Eric's not able to get by Alex Bowman, I'm telling you, that move of moving to the bottom and letting Ty Gibbs go on the outside, that's going to be what saves him in this race.
He's going to get by Josh Berry. He's going to have a chance to. I think he's going to get to the bumper of the 48. You know, whether he does what it takes to get into this All-Star race, that's another story.
And now, with no pressure on Almirola, he's got 25 laps to get there and make his move.
Oh, yeah, and 3/10 quicker that lap, and that's huge on the short track. The 10 car, by far the best car on the track right now.
You're going to see if Josh Berry had any, you know, in the tank, if he was just saving a little bit, which he is at KG. This kid has been around these short tracks. He's been around this racetrack in a late model. This is in his wheelhouse. Managing those tires is the name of the game.
Well, and this is what we're watching for. We want the third place guy to just get to the second place guy, knowing that that's the transfer position. Mike, you just said it. Right. We want to see these guys battle and see if Eric's willing to take that chance and be risky and move him out of the way.
Whoa, Leader had trouble getting around McDowell.
Now, hey, let's go back a few laps. Remember, he moved Michael McDowell out of the way.
Oh,
McDowell's retaliating on him right now.
Low lead.
And there goes Berry to the lead.
Wow, how about this?
I wondered why they were trying to fix that car on pit road. And that makes complete sense right now.
Eric looking to the outside. Can he do a crossover right here? Oh, didn't stay. This is a good
What a
opportunity.
race for the lead right now.
And now Almirola's on the outside looking in. And
you
once
see
again,
Ty Gibbs really working over the back of the 48.
Right back to Berry's bumper.
But I don't think Berry can't let him go right now. It's not the same position because Eric Almirola is right behind him, and Ty Gibbs is going to wear that bumper out.
Gibbs was so close to the wall off of 4 right there. Almost got in it.
You're right, Jamie. If one makes the move, they're both going to go by
That's
the
right.
48.
Oh, he's going to make a move. He's going to be forced to.
Everybody in the earlier incidents checked and released at the infield care center.
All those fans look like us standing up right now.
Yeah.
We got so excited when that happened.
20 to go. Eric Almirola has transferred from the Open to the All-Star race 3 times, looking to make it 4 tonight.
This Kevin Hamlin will be telling that Josh Berry the best thing he sees is the gap in between the car behind you, Gibbs, and Almirola. If that stays the case, Gibbs will stay off of his bumper. If this Almirola gets to Gibbs and puts pressure on him, that's going to amp up his pressure. Right now, I like this gap.
I'm telling you what, Josh Berry is doing a great job. Got out to the lead. Gibbs is now in some dirty air. We talk about how tough it is to, it's one thing catching, it's another thing to be able to pass. Josh is keeping that car straight, entry and on exit, running good lap times right now.
These old wore out short tracks right in his wheelhouse. Does not surprise me a bit. By the way, pretty darn good equipment too, Jamie.
Yeah, definitely good equipment.
Eric's doing everything he could do here. All over this racetrack, utilizing them grip strips, trying to figure out a way around this 54.
Well, and as I look at Ty Gibbs, and he's been pretty quiet this year, guys, but if you think about his career in the Xfinity Series, he was known as someone that would move you out of the way. And if I'm Eric, I know that, and I'm going to race him the same way that I think that he would race me. So this could get interesting in the next 17 laps if Eric's able to get to his back bumper, knowing what's on the line.
Ty Gibbs has been so quiet, but so efficient all year long. Very strong, solid each and every week. But I started to see exactly what you talked about out there just a minute ago.
Absolutely.
As soon as he needed to ratchet up that aggression,
he's not scared.
There.
That's right.
Now, for the last 4 laps, Josh Berry has been the fastest car on the racetrack. So to move him, you got to get to him, and they are not closing that gap.
And I think that's what, exactly what I was talking about with his spotter, Kevin Hamlin. That's music to his ears. Got a little bit of gap, a little bit of space in between Gibbs and Almirola there. That means Gibbs is not going to come up there and show us the aggression that it takes. And that could open a door up for a 2-for-1.
Well, and as we talk about trying to save your tires, Josh has been doing that. When he let Ty Gibbs go, if he would have been driving hard the entire time, he might have used too much tire, but I think he was very disciplined and was saved a little bit of tire, and it's now paying off.
I don't think Michael McDowell's done yet. They're going to catch him before this race is over.
Well,
He's
listen,
running about 2 seconds off the pace.
If you can't get it done the first time, you don't get a second time. That's the way I look
agree
at
with that.
You can't get it done the first time, bud. Pull it off the track.
No, McDowell's on a mission. He's become the moving chicane in this race, and he's got one target, Ty Gibbs.
Yeah, but I agree with Jamie. Now, just etiquette, right?
Yeah.
You get a chance, you pull that card and you put it on the
That's right.
table,
You're
that's
done.
fine.
Go home.
But if it doesn't work, you do it the second time, you ain't gonna look good.
Clint, etiquette is too big a word for this situation.
That's a big word for Clint in general.
So let's see if it happens.
12 to go. There's McDowell
Oh,
cruising.
he is loose on entry.
I'd say it probably has a total.
And it's a three-horse race.
Yeah,
Barry
definitely
Gibbs
does.
and Almirola. Everybody else is way back. Priest and Allmendinger 3 seconds or more back, and here they come up to lap Michael McDowell for a third time.
Eric Almirola, get in position. If you've got anything left in the tank, you get up there.
I almost would give him a little bit of a break so I'm not involved in the incident.
This is an opportunity here, slowing Gibbs up off of corner. Can't capitalize, not close enough.
His car's so bad he didn't have a shot at it.
Yeah, that right rear
He may have a tire going down.
Nah, the
It's off.
right rear toe link.
Ten to go. And still, Barry is the fastest car on the racetrack.
Yeah, and it doesn't look like Josh is going to catch Harrison Burton, who's the last car, or the next car that he can catch. So I don't think that lap traffic is going to come into play here. It's just going to be about putting your head down, not sliding your car. And it looks like the 10 car made really good ground up on Ty Gibbs right there. The thing is, if you slide it in one corner, it lets the guy get to your rear bumper, and that's what Ty Gibbs can't afford to do right now.
As loose as that 34 is, maybe
might get another caution.
Might get a caution.
Yeah.
Drew Blickensderfer trying to will that number 10 car forward. And look, you see Almirola trying different lines, searching for grip. Guess what? There isn't any.
Yeah, doing everything he can, but he just doesn't have the speed he needs right now.
Gonna need a gift now.
Or a caution.
Tell you what, Gibbs really lost. He missed that traction patch down there in 3 and 4, slid up the racetrack.
Yeah, they're kind of trading it back and forth.
That was a big miss down there.
And Almirola closes to within 3 car lengths of the 54.
It appears, Clint, that Eric's better in 1 and 2 and Ty's a little bit better in 3 and 4.
Down the front straightaway and uphill to turn 3. That's the uniqueness of this 5/8 mile oval. And Almirola's getting closer.
Sure is. 33 to an 18.
He's found something.
Well, and I would rather be in Eric's position than Ty's. When you're racing defensively like that, trying not to slide, it's way easier to be on the offense than it is the defense.
Especially when that Ford
And he knows
Mustang
what's
starts
coming.
to get bigger in the mirror. Oh, pressure's on.
5.
And really, if you're Eric right here, you don't want to do anything until the last lap because you don't want to give him a shot to be able to retaliate on you.
But you have to be
Just a
disciplined.
little bit lower here in the center. 1,
Keep
2.
it cool
Handle
here.
About a foot lower.
So
And
Gibbs
then
is
rhythm.
better getting off 2. Almirola is better, I think, getting into both corners.
It looks like Eric is way better on entry. It looks like he's able to drive in harder, car not sliding around so much, maybe from being a little bit tight that we heard earlier.
I think Gibbs is loose. That's where I saw his slip up down in 3 and 4. Missed that traction patch and slid way up the racetrack. Kind of opened the door for this whole conversation.
Josh Berry's running away. He's got a 1.2 second lead. It is going to be between Ty Gibbs and Eric Almirola for the second and final transfer
Little lower,
spot.
exit of 4.
3 to
3
go.
more.
He's listening because I'm telling you it's working. He found a little bit there. Pulled back away. Straight
That was
drops
good all the way
off.
through 1, 2.
I agree.
Maintained it plus half on exit. That's good every time.
Gibbs is so good up the hill from turn 2 to turn 3, though. He's able to mind the gap.
Two to go. Starting to catch these lappers.
Oh, now this
And it's
is
Ryan
totally
Newman
changing.
of all people.
Yeah, he's
a
not hard to
one
pass. Nah, he gave him the bottom. That
Yeah,
was nice
Newman's
of him right
already
there.
2 down. He won't be a factor.
Still, though, that could mess up Gibbs's exit right here, not being able to slide up to the wall like he needs to.
Man, did you see how close Eric was to that wall?
White flag.
Yeah, I don't think we've seen the last
Mark,
guy
you're
hit the
3
inside
by
wall.
3.
Oh, so
Harrison
close.
Burton just ahead, and Ty Gibbs is going to hang on for second. Josh Berry
Punched
is
his
in the
ticket.
NASCAR All-Star race along with Ty Gibbs.
There's only one left. Now we get to see who that is. I always like that fan vote. I'll never forget when Casey Kane won that fan vote and came out there and won the All-Star race. Could not believe it.
I was just thinking the same thing. That's been the best fan vote so far because he was able to come back and win the whole race.
Well, we are going to announce the fan vote winner on the radio to the driver. Clint.
Hey, Noah Gregson, it's Boyer and the boys up in the booth. You got me?
Yes, sir.
Well, buddy, I know that's not the one you wanted, that race right there. But the good news is your fans, they put you in the big dance tonight. How about that?
Hell yeah. I appreciate all you fans. You guys are awesome. Heat race wasn't nearly what we wanted, but you guys make this happen. It's a dream to be able to race an all-star race and for $1 million. So thank you, all you fans, for all the support, everybody for coming out to North Wilkesboro, and we hope to put on a good show for you guys.
Well, you ain't got much time. Get that thing buffed back out, get some of them scratches off of it. You're in it. Congratulations, buddy.
Sweet, thanks, guys.
Josh Berry in his first race at North Wilkesboro is the open winner. Jamie.
Josh Berry gets that helmet off. Josh, you and your crew chief Blake Harris going on to your first all-star race. What does that mean to you?
Oh man, I feel so relieved. These guys deserve to be in this race so bad. Thank you so much, Hendrick Motorsports, for believing in me and giving me this opportunity in under circumstances. Ally, everybody back at Hendrick Motorsports and Chevrolet, man, this is really cool. Our car was solid. We were definitely better the second run. We got some help there with whatever happened with the 34. I don't know what that was. That was pretty bad. But you know, we were able to get the lead and stretch it out a little bit and just kind of maintain it. I think the two best cars made it, so we'll just see what tonight gives us.
What is this like? This is the style of racing you grew up doing. You and Dale Jr., I know, are so tight, and what this night means to him. So are you going to be a favorite for this All-Star?
I don't know. We got a lot of cars to pass, but if tonight's any indication of how that was way crazier than I ever expected. But I was here in August with Dale Jr. and this crowd rivals that. That was a night that I will never forget. And hopefully let's make tonight like that as well and put on a great show for these fans.
Congratulations. See you in the All-Star.
Thank you.
Josh?
Ty Gibbs raced his way into his first All-Star race. What does it mean to be a part of this big event now?
Yeah, it's really cool. I feel like I'm kind of back here at Hickory Motor Speedway, honestly. You know, it's pretty cool, pretty special to be here. I know that I wasn't alive, of course, when they were racing here, but it's really cool. It's a worn-out racetrack for sure, so fun. Just kind of looking for patches, looking for grip.
Ty, there was a couple battles out there, obviously trying to hold up Eric Almirola, but also with the 34 McDowell. What was going on out there?
Yeah, I mean, I kind of understand the 34's frustration, but at Martinsville we were running 18th and they clobbered us and about wrecked us, so I think it's honestly a fair game. And racing and making an all-star race, so I mean, understand his frustration, but we got in, so that's all that matters.
Ty Gibbs in the all-star race. Regan?
Well, Michael McDowell, the other side to the equation of what took place there as Ty Gibbs, and you've made some contact a couple of different occasions tonight. What was the message you were trying to send, and how frustrated are you right now?
Well, I mean, it's short track racing to try to get into the all-star race, so somebody's going to leave with hurt feelings. I guess it's me. You know, I got a great restart there, kind of worked the outside, got a couple guys, and was able to get down, and you know, Ty just plowed into me, just knocked me into 31, spun us both out, and you know, got a lot of damage from that. So, you know, we ended up on the short side of it. It sucks. I felt like we had a pretty fast freight auction Ford Mustang. But at the same time, you know, it's just all that stuff comes around, man. You know, you can get away with it a few times, but it comes around. And, you know, I don't have a budget for the fine. Otherwise, I would not be standing here. I'd be standing down there.
Thanks, Michael.
There's the incident that Michael McDowell was talking about, the one that put the 34 and the 31 on the fence and the 31 out of the race.
Well, and the one thing that I learned about that is if I'm going to get somebody here, I'm going to get on the inside and let them on my outside, not the way McDowell did it, right?
Well, the biggest takeaway from that for me is it's on the table. You know, the options there. I like the gamble. I like trying the outside. It was going to work for Haley. Haley had a great jump on the outside. That will be an option for somebody to capitalize on. Desperation setting in, everything you want for an all-star race.
And I don't think Ty Gibbs did anything wrong there. I think Michael McDowell will understand that. The only thing wrong with Ty Gibbs is sometimes that interview afterwards, like the delivery, what he says doesn't necessarily come across the way that we would all like for it to.
All right, Jamie Little.
And Eric Almirola just misses making the All-Star race by 1 spot. And before the stop, you guys seem like you were pretty darn consistent, maybe had something to work with. What were you missing there at the end to move up 1 spot?
They made their cars better on the pit stop, and we made ours a little bit better, but they made their cars significantly better. I thought we were still better than them. Traffic, surprisingly, on a little half-mile racetrack, traffic still matters. I didn't do myself any favors choosing the outside on that restart. I thought, you know, I could maybe make it work. The 48 was kind of slow taking off, and I thought if I could just get a good launch and clear them off a 2, I'd get some clean air and be able to ride and save my stuff. But I just wasn't able to clear them, and I wasn't able to get in between him and the 54, and I lost a spot to the 41, a spot to the 16, and had to really use my stuff up more than I wanted to get back by those guys and try and run the leaders down. And just, I used up too much of my stuff. So I was kind of hanging on there at the end, trying to hustle to make something of it, and just wasn't able to get close enough to make a move. So just frustrated. Had a really fast Smithfield Ford Mustang. Proud of the guys. You know, starting deep in the field against those guys that started on the front row to drive from 9th all the way up there and have a shot to outrun those guys. Says how good our car was, but needed more laps. I didn't need that last run to have all those cautions. I really would have liked to seen it go green.
It was a lot of work for the teams, 3 days up here at North Wilkesboro. Just describe the disappointment in missing the All-Star race.
Yeah, I think you know, we work a lot regardless, so I don't think the work is, you know, anything different. So I'm not, you know, I don't think too much about that. I'm more disappointed just because there's going to be a race without us, and these guys deserve to be in that race. You know, we're a great race team, and you know, we had a great race car here this weekend. I thought we were a 5th place car in practice on average. You know, on a long run for sure, we were one of the best cars. So I would have liked to have seen the way it would have played out tonight. You know, here, and such an iconic event, and running for $1 million here at North Wilkesboro would have been awesome. So that's what I'm most disappointed about, just not being in the show tonight and having to watch it on TV. That hurts.
Thanks, Eric.
Thanks, Jamie. Now, there's a bit of drama going on among the 3 cars that have transferred into the All-Star race. Noah Gregson's car has been pushed into the garage area. A NASCAR official walking along with it. They have some damage they want to try to repair before they line up for the All-Star race.
That is the cool thing about this new car, is there's a lot of parts and pieces on there that you can change out.
And here's what happened to Gregson. You'll see him get into the end of the inside wall right here.
Boom.
And then out into traffic.
I think that left front, I mean, that impact right in that wheel like that, there's a lot of bent pieces that are pretty important pieces on that left front.
Well, I know it, and Eric said it's a 5/8 mile track, but aero is still important here, and the splitter's all bent up. I mean, that's not going to be the car that he had before. They're just going to have to do the best job they can to get it to where he, you know, can get out and race.
So NASCAR did allow them to take the car to the garage area and make repair. So we'll update that when we come back to North Wilkesboro Speedway, home to NASCAR's All-Star race for 2023.